I am here at the office of Heather Lounsbury, who has a practice called Breathe and a practice called Get Natural, Get Well. I'm going to learn a lot more about her, but I do know that she does acupuncture. So check out this interview and some more about her business.
My name's Heather Lounsbury. I have been an acupuncturist, herbalist, and nutrition for about 10 years now. And I've been in the healing profession for almost 15. I specialize in women's health and mental health, but I treat pretty much any illness you can think of. I get a lot of people with digestive issues and allergies and aches and pains.
And when you say healing, like what does that mean?
While I was in grad school, I was a masseuse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you do both still, or just acupuncture?
I do massage for about 5 people still. When I make house calls, I usually combine both. Recycling, energy saving, and I promote organic, locally grown food as much as possible with my patients, and encouraging them to make greener life choices as well. And in my new office, it's going to be completely non-toxic. So bamboo flooring, no VOC paint, and we're going to be using refillable ink cartridges, and the lighting's all going to be low energy usage.
Are you at the raw food event? So
yes.
Are you a raw foodist? Or are you just, like, what was your association with being there?
I'm not a raw foodist personally, but, and I've talked about this on my radio show a little bit. I think if you can do it right, it's a great thing, but it's very rare that I see someone doing it right. But I encourage, eating organic as much as possible, fresh as much as possible, and if you are a meat eater, to have it as a side instead of the entree and not having it every day. Another thing that I recently talked about on my show was that some people are so stressed out about keeping the raw food lifestyle that can be detrimental to your health too. So again, if you're doing it right, it's great. Or if you want to do a percentage of your diet raw food, then I'm all for it. In Chinese nutrition, eating everything raw is actually hard on your stomach and spleen. It needs some warm foods. And I'm not saying everything has to be overcooked, but at least steamed or warm in some way, so your metabolism doesn't get damaged by always having cold things. So,
are you a vegan?
No, I've been vegetarian for 25 years.
What?
Yay!
Have you ever tried going vegan?
Oh, I have gone vegan for like 6 months, 8 months, and it just depends on where I'm at in my life. I don't have that much dairy. I don't have any eggs, and when I do have dairy, it's always organic and local. So. I do my best, but I haven't been able to give up the cheese just yet.
Hard. What inspired you to be a vegetarian?
Well, a few things. One was my best friend, Stacy. She was raised vegetarian, and I always thought it was fascinating because I'd never been exposed to that until I met her. And I decided to do an experiment for the summer. The summer I was turning 15, and that summer I read the health benefits, the environmental consequences of eating meat, and also the moral issues that go along with meat eating. So I couldn't go back. I didn't give up seafood for a couple more years.
Does someone's diet play a role in the healing process with acupuncture?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say most people who come to me need some nutritional guidance. Either they're just completely clueless and have never tried to eat healthier, or they've heard all these mixed signals about what is good for you and what isn't, and they just get overwhelmed and confused, and then go back to eating a typical American diet, which is fast food and processed food and high fructose corn syrup. So if you're not eating well, then you can't really get to be your optimal health. Always encourage eliminating coffee and soda from the diet, and with any animal products to have organic. And I just recently read that pretty much all fish at this point have high levels of mercury. It used to be only certain fish. At this point, there isn't really a healthy option anymore when it comes to seafood, unfortunately. But I never push my vegetarianism on my patients. It's such a personal choice.
How long does it typically take till you see results with it?
It depends on what's wrong with you and how healthy you are in general. I've had people come to me who it seems like it's going to be a really simple case, and it can take a month or two to start seeing results. And I have people who come in who seem really sick or in tons of pain, and one treatment they're 80% better.
Wow.
So I never really know. I mean, there's certain things that I can kind of say, oh, within 3 treatments, you're going to be feeling a lot better. And I never liked people to become dependent on my treatments. Some people, once they're better, still come in weekly or every other week just because they love how they feel after a session. But their health doesn't require it. But it's good for their mental health.
Yeah.
So, and then I always recommend coming in every 4 to 8 weeks for maintenance so you don't get sick. I always share that I think I've had 1 or 2 colds in 10 years.
Wow.
And because I might get like the hint of a scratchy throat or a little achy, and I take my herbs, and I might get an acupuncture session with somebody, and then the next morning I'm 100%. Herbs to me are a very important part of the healing process. I prescribe herbs to almost all my patients. I also don't use fresh herbs because most people, I don't know if you've ever tried them, but fresh herbs, there's like cooking involved, they taste bad, they smell up your home. And that's definitely the best way to take them. But again, if you're gonna hate the way they taste and hate the smell, or your roommate, spouse, like, this is disgusting, you can't have this in the house, then you're not gonna take it. So I do everything in powders and capsules.
Are the capsules vegetarian?
No, unfortunately. I might switch to veggie capsules eventually. But the taste of these herbs are so intense that some people have tried without the capsules and they're like, I've thrown up. Not me, but some of my patients have thrown up because they're just so strong. I mean, it's roots and seeds and branches and I mean, all the ingredients I use are vegetarian. And to me, herbs, especially with chronic conditions, are really, really key to getting well, because they change your body on an energetic level when you're not coming in for sessions, and they're so strong. I mean, they're safe as long as you're getting them prescribed by someone who knows what they're doing. And that's something I should probably emphasize. Some people might have heard, oh, I've heard that Chinese herbs might have lead in them, or, they can cause kidney failure. But the products I use are safe. They're from the U.S. They're not from China. And when people get sick from them, they've usually overused them. Like, there's certain herbs that can help with weight loss. So people will take like 100 times the recommended dose, and of course there's going to be consequences.
When you say they're from the U.S., are they like local to like California, or is there?
No, it's all over the country. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. There are some herbalists in the LA area that are working on having people grow them in their own gardens, but it's not a big enough movement for me because, I mean, I need a huge supply. I need to grow in different climates. That's another thing. If you're growing them in a place they're not supposed to grow, then they're not going to have the same healing properties. So you kind of can't do the local thing with all of it.
And what makes your practice eco-friendly?
Well, it's going to be even more eco-friendly when I'm in my permanent location. Right now, it's eco-friendly with the products that I use. I use organic as much as possible. Unfortunately, Chinese herbs, it's very hard to find Chinese herbs that are organic at this point.
What inspired you to get into natural and healing medicine?
Well, one of the things was becoming a vegetarian. Actually, I was anemic for the first couple of years because I didn't know what I was doing, and there wasn't internet in 1985, so I couldn't just Google vegetarian sources for protein and iron. It wasn't there. The first couple of years I was very sick, and my doctor didn't know what to do with me. Like, oh, you just start eating meat again, and I knew that wasn't an option. And eventually I started experimenting, and I went to a health food store, a food co-op, and got advice from older people who had been doing it for a long time, and got a severe case of mono about a year after I became vegetarian. Again, my doctor said, there's nothing you can do. And it just didn't sound right. I mean, there's got to be something you can do. And of course, I know now there's plenty of things you can do. Those two things just inspired me to start studying nutrition and supplements and herbs on my own. And then in college, working at this health food store. And when I moved out here after college, then the light bulb went off. I'm like, wow, I could do this for a living. And I chose Chinese medicine over being a naturopath or a homeopath because I just felt like I could do so much more. Not that those medicines aren't great, but I felt like the combination of herbs and acupuncture and nutrition can really help people. So.